Throughout Australia, welcome to 3AW's Round 9 coverage of the 2018 AFL Premiership season.
Phillips searching for it in the grass. Cox socking it off the ground, straight to Heppel, who snapped a wonderful goal.
Live from the MCG, it's Essendon versus Geelong.
Looks up, pass options are plenty. Crammery, one of them, strolls into 30 to 20, goal.
The McDonald's 3AW is football.
It certainly is. Thank you, Craig Willis. 3AW's sensational Saturday of AFL football rolls on game 2 of a triple header, and it is the Country Festival match, the Bombers and the Cats at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. The Bombers having lost 4 games in a row, sitting 15th on the table, and the Cats 5-3 inside the top 4. They were leapfrogged last night by the Crows, but they can get back into third position today with what would be their 3rd win in a row. Bruce Eva sitting alongside Matty Grandin, joining me in play-by-play commentary shortly. Tony Shaw and Daniel Harford, our expert commentators. But let's start this afternoon with both sides out on the field warming up, and there is some news regarding Essendon and a very senior player in the Essendon lineup. So let's get down to the boundary for Master Builders. Is your builder a Master Builder? And say a very good afternoon to Brett Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Beaver. Might be a bit of a false alarm. We did see Dyson Heppel talking to the physio for a while, then laid on the ground for a couple of minutes, was receiving a bit of a rub down. Looked to be a tight hip perhaps, or maybe his abdomen, but he just went through some run-throughs and now going through some drills with his teammates, so he looks to be okay. We know we've had one captain already this season injure himself in the warm-up. That was Mark Murphy, so some concern for Dyson Heppel, but looks to be okay at this stage.
Keep going while you're hot, PT. Who is the starting benches? And I believe there's no change.
No late changes. Obviously, the Bombers making 5 changes on Thursday night. 2 debutants, 2 of their draft picks from 2016 in Dylan Clark, younger brother of Ryan Clark at North Melbourne, leading possession getter in the VFL across the first few rounds of that season. And then Jordan Ridley as well, who's had a few injuries but is a versatile player. And for the Cats was just the one change on the Thursday night, Asava Radagalia coming out for Tom Hawkins. We saw last night Luke Beveridge taking selfies after the match. Chris Scott doing that before the match today, signing some autographs with some Cats fans here in the crowd today.
Good on you, BT. Brett Thomas will be on the boundary all afternoon and evening for Master Builders. Is your builder a Master Builder? Tony Shaw and Daniel Harford, good afternoon to you learned gentlemen both. It is hard to believe that this time last year the Bombers cleaned up the Cats pretty comfortably. Final margin was just 17 points after Essendon led by 40 at three-quarter time. Joe Danaher was best on ground with 5 goals. They had a picnic for the first 3 quarters. A year's a long time in footy. That snapped a 6-match losing streak against the Cats. What can we expect from the beleaguered Bombers today?
Well, I would love to see that, Beaver, but all I want to see from the Bombers is some effort, real effort in what happens out in this game today. When you look at the Bombers, 18th for quarters 1, 18th for conceding scores inside 50, 16th from scores from forward half intercepts, and 17th from scores forward of half clearances. They've got some issues. But I've got a way they can turn this around. I'm going to simplify this for you, Half.
Yes.
If I was in the coach's room, this is what I'd be saying. What I'm looking for today, and we're going to take stats on all these things.
Right.
1, we're going to defend in the forward half. I want to see how many minutes we can keep the ball in our forward line against the opposition when Geelong go forward to see if we can outnumber them as in minutes inside forward 50. That means pressure. 2, cut their time and space. Whenever a Geelong player's got the ball, you attack that player without any thought, any hesitation at all to try and at least pressure the ball all the time. 3, we slice and dice. Play on, cut the angles, try and move the Geelong defence around as much as possible. And 4, no +1 for Geelong. I don't care if we play an 8-man forward line. We will not allow Geelong to have a +1 behind the ball because that suits their game. Stick to those 4 things and let's see if we can be competitive.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shorey, I know there's a vacancy in the Essendon coaching box at the moment. Are you interested in being a part of the campaign?
They won't take me. I'm too intelligent.
That is a very sound philosophy if you're John Worsfold today to try and get through to his players, because that's the challenge against a really good team, the Cats, this afternoon at the MCG.
We are going to have a short pre-game ceremony with this being the Country Festival match. Let's get down to Pete Laser, our MC, before the National Anthem.
Celebrate the wonderful contribution of our regional communities and volunteers and their wonderful work with our great game and to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can now ask you to please be upstanding and join with the players, coaches, officials, umpires and our CFA volunteers as we welcome John Williamson to perform a special edition of Waltzing Matilda.
Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came a jumbuck to drink at the billabong. Up got the swaggy and grabbed him with glee, and he sang as he stowed that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda. Sing it now. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he stowed that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came the squatter, mounted on his thoroughbred. Up came the troopers, 1, 2, 3. Who's a jolly jumbuck you got in your tucker bag? You'll come a waltzing Matilda. Sing it now. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Who's the jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag? You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. I've got the swaggy and jumped into the billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda. By yourselves now, come on. Waltzing Matilda. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda. Last chance now. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
So there you have it, not quite the national anthem, although many in this great country of ours believe that maybe should be the national anthem. Waltzing Matilda, performed by the legendary John Williamson ahead of this country festival match. Another initiative by the great man Kevin Sheedy, who will join us here in the box at half-time to go head-to-head with Tony Shaw after his criticism of Sheeds' beloved Bombers earlier in the week. Now, just before we get some more from Shawry and Daniel Harford, we're a couple of minutes away from the opening bounce. Let's just have a listen to a little piece of John Worsfold earlier in the week, the beleaguered coach of the Essendon Football Club.
I'm really confident in my communication with the board and Xavier at this footy club that we're not happy with where we're at, but we're on a clear pathway to where we want to get to. And we've all got clear roles to play in achieving that. So I see a club that's pretty strongly aligned and really focused on doing the hard work to get to where we want to get to.
Well, they're going to have to, because they come up against a team this afternoon, Shorey, who are in pretty hot form, and there's been a lot talked about the Essendon Football Club through the week, but Geelong are making a very, very good play at a top four campaign in the first half of the season and setting themselves up for a really good run at it. And it's on the back of their defence, and if we look through at the start of the season, we perhaps thought that perhaps their defensive back half setup and names and personnel, Shorey, would have been one of their Achilles' heels, but they've gelled together with such great chemistry. Clearly their pressure around the ball is one of the reasons for that. If you've got no easy ball coming into your defensive half, that makes it easy to defend. But the personnel they've got back there have been nothing short of outstanding. Stewart has become an All-Australian contender for mine. We've got Harry Taylor back in the team. Kolajasny, Blitzarves has moved to centre-half back. It's been an absolute genius move by Chris Scott. Tui and Henry, those sort of players across there, not only give you dash and defence, they give you a bit of courage as well and take the game on. And I think that's what's been really noticeable for me this year from the Cats' defensive half is not only can they defend and get the job done, but they're actually quite attacking when they've got time and space as well. And that's going to be difficult because one of your measures today is about spending time in the forward half for the Bombers. And it's going to be difficult because of the quality of play that Geelong have been able to execute from their back third.
Well, look, all you want to see is an inclination from your forwards when you don't win the ball to stop the opposition winning it, and if they do win it, to stop them from running out. So that's what I'm looking for. I think it's... Excuse me, I think it's a bit pretty simple in a lot of ways. When you haven't got the ball, you've got to pressure your opposition enough to turn it over. Look, I'm looking for effort. I'm looking for a style there that you don't worry about making mistakes, because they're all down on confidence. Everybody knows that old thing about, you don't bite at a milk bar, confidence. But, you've got to go into every game thinking every time you walk over the white line, you can win. And if you haven't thought about that, if you've got a negative thought now, you won't go half the way of doing that. So that's all I want to see, and I don't want Geelong to get an extra man in defence at all during this whole game.
So we're ready to go. First quarter for Chemist Warehouse. Quickly around the grounds in China at half-time. Port lead the Suns by 13 points. Matty Granlund, good afternoon to you. It's the Bombers and the Cats.
Thank you, Beaver. And we are underway at the MCG. Stringer in the guts got the first kick away. Ablett trying to get it under his command. Not going too far, though. So Merritt tried to get the handball out. The umpire will come in and ball it up. So Stringer involved early, playing in the middle. Knocked down by Zach Smith. Taken by Devon Smith of the Bombers. Inside 50, and Harry Taylor, who's back there taking the mark for the Cats in defence.
He's got the job on Sean McKernan at the start of the game for the Cats.
So Taylor comes out towards the members' side.
Not a good kick.
Oh. Selwood there. It was a poor kick. Bill Chambers won it down. Sard. Fantasia. McGregor inside the 50. No mark. Ball hits the deck. Ablett is there to clean up, and he gets it onto the boot, just blasts away. Real blind kick, and the Bombers got it covered, Beaver.
Yeah, Hooker sat underneath it, took the chest mark. Little handball to McKenna, and pokes a short pass to Heppel. The skipper, 70 from home, had those injury concerns in the warm-up. He runs his full measure, pumps it to full four. There's an early whistle, and it'll be a free kick to Tui for a push against McKernan in the last line. The Bombers are going to the punt road end in the first quarter. The Cats to the city end. Crowd building nicely as well, with plenty of activities out in Yarra Park before this big game got underway. Tui trots off towards this member stand side. Kicks to Hawkins, who leapt early, timed his leap brilliantly as well, and took the mark over Hooker. Gets the handball away, and Duncan blasts it down the line, but once again Essendon are there in numbers.
But that time Ambrose goes to ground. Chance here for Cranmery, who's got it inside the 50, getting back Bell Chambers. Zach Smith is tracking in the footy, beats them both over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in left forward pocket for the Cats.
They've gone in 2 or 3 times now, Essendon, and they've given away 2 free kicks. You just got to be smart. Even get a deep stoppage, but you don't allow them to give free kicks away when they're not needed.
Couple of minutes in, no score, as the umpire prepares to hurl it back into play. In front, Bell Chambers. He just dumps it back towards the boundary line. Ball kept in. Cunico, Hawkins, Ablett, Selwood caught. And Stringer will pounce onto the footy at half back. He gets it under his control, then gives the handball off to Devon Smith, who just kicks it into open territory. It's rolling over. It doesn't quite get there.
Well done.
They keep it alive, the Bombers, but Stewart has got it covered. Good work by Stewart to get it there. Stewart of the Bombers and Stewart of the Cats involved, and now Tui just angles the kick back inboard. They've got some numbers here, the Cats. Harry Taylor, Selwood, they've got it under control. Blitzarves onto the boot, ugly kick, and straight down the throat of the first gamer, Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley loads up. He's 75 from home. He kicks to a 2-on-1 favouring the Cats, and the easy mark to Kolajasny, who's much taller than Devon Smith, who was never really in the contest. Dabs a little one sideways to Duncan, who then pokes a pass to Parsons just outside defensive 50. 3 minutes into the opening term, still no score. Parsons, long ball down the line. Hawkins is going to be the target. In from the side, Cranmery takes the mark and then quickly handballs on to Gregson, who kicks it inside forward 50 to a 1-on-1. Dangerfield and Zach Merritt. Dangerfield wins the first battle but didn't win the war. Zach Merritt got him. Umpire called play on. Bombers clear it through Stringer. High up and under out towards right half back, and the diving mark is taken by Bagley.
So Bagley, he just shuffles back over his mark. Stringer's had a couple of touches early, which is positive for the Bombers.
Too slow here, too slow to move the ball, the Bombers.
It's Bagley, he kicks it to half forward. Ronnie McKernan couldn't take it. McDonald Tippenwoody, he was handcuffed in the tackle. Harry Taylor there again. The Cats get numbers around this. Selwood gets the handball out. Blitzarves. And then Hughes gets it onto the boot, but there's a free going to the Bombers, and it's going to Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody.
You're right, it was a bit slow, Shorey, from half-back for the Bombers, but it's been high octane. The first 4 minutes, there's been no stoppages, and I don't think Essendon want this. A free-flowing game up and down the ground is going to be bad for them.
Goes short to Goddard, inside the 50, a very good kick, and McKernan is on the end of it. And Sean McKernan will go back and line up for the first score of the afternoon from 45 metres out.
And that's what they're going to have to do, to just use those little 25, 30-metre passes inside forward 50. They might not be able to get the ball too deep with the way Geelong defend and push their numbers behind the ball in those situations. So use that hit-up player around the 30 to 40-metre arc of the inside the 50 and give them a chance if your kick is good enough. And it was a ripper from Brendan Goddard.
So Sean McKernan, he's used a fair bit of time up. He's on the runway now. He's going to have to kick this one from just inside the 50. On its way. That is beautiful off the boot. And the Bombers have the first on the board. Off the boot of Sean McKernan. 1 straight 6 Essendon. Geelong get the score. 5 minutes gone. Chemist Warehouse scoreboard.
What I love, Half, though, the inclinations there. The inclination to play on. I know they held it up off the back half, and you're probably right. If you look up, there was one man behind play. I still think that plays into Geelong's hand. But while you're going, if you can hit the scoreboard, put some mental pressure on Geelong, then you just stay with your game plan until it starts to turn the other way. But, yeah, great look by the Essendon side. They look positive at the moment.
And a great effort by Zach Merritt with that tackle in the goal square at the other end of the ground. Patrick Dangerfield, never easy to lock down. A goal-saving tackle and a goal-creating tackle.
2 goals, 2 last week, Sean McKernan, in his first senior game of the year. And the match opener here this afternoon. Back in the centre. Bell Chambers might have slightly won it. Heppel's kick was cut off immediately, though, by Ablett, who scoops it up and pumps it inside forward 50. No mark taken. Hawkins fights on after it. Crammery at the back. He handballs forward. Parsons is bumped off the line of the footy by Hooker, who did well. Kicked on his non-preferred left. Dangerfield almost took the mark. Wasn't paid. Zach Merritt mopped up. He got a handball to Stringer. Kick to a one-on-one. Good grab by Stewart. And they want to move it quickly again. The quick handball to Zach Merritt. Pops it over the top. Is that Laverty in space? Or it is Laverty. He's got it at 55. Kick was half battered down, but it still might work out all right. Grabbed there by Guelphy. He's tackled immediately. Ball spills free. Players crash in. Umpire lets it go. Should be a whistle now. And there'll be a throw up. 53 out from the Essendon goal. 6.5 minutes into the opening term. Bombers 1 straight. Cats yet to score.
They're certainly up for it early, the Bombers. Knocked down by Zach Smith. Comes to Selwood. Back to Smith again. Got the handball out, but Merritt was able to get it to Guelphy, who gets it onto the boot. It's a high ball. Blitzarves couldn't quite complete the mark. Harry Taylor came flashing through. Blitzarves again. Did well, got the handball away to Menegola. He was confronted. He's handball sideways. Opens it all for Zach Merritt. Couldn't take it cleanly. Dangerfield.
Good
Hughes,
pressure.
and then back to Dangerfield. And now Gary Ablett. He is able to share it off half back and then go for a bit of a dash on the wing. Handball to Holland Smith. He gets it onto the boot inside the 50. Goddard couldn't take the mark. Tom Hawkins takes it, turns around. It's an open goal square, and the Tomahawk has missed to the right-hand side. Minor score Cats. They're 1 point, and the Bombers are 1 straight 6. 7.5 minutes gone, opening quarter.
McKenna with the little kick into the left-back pocket. And the mark is taken down there by Ambrose. No hurry to move it on. About the first time we've been able to take breath in the first 7 minutes. Long ball eventually in the Stewart direction. Punched away from that player. Again, a scrap at ground level, and the umpire once more asks for it. He'll throw it up about 70 out from the Bomber goal.
Around the grounds, have got some real concerns with Dermot Brereton's hair in China.
Yes, that's been the case for most of the week, I think. Guelphy with the clearance, little toe poke forward. Henry grabs it. Bagley wraps him up in a huge tackle immediately. And the umpire again calls for the football. True centre wing position right on the Yarra Valley and Croydon Toyota logo. Essendon 6, Geelong 1. We've gone 8.5.
Ablett or Heppel. Heppel beats him to it. Wins it for the Bombers and then kicks the half forward. Harry Taylor couldn't cling onto the mark. And Tasha tried to pick it up. Who can come up with it? And we might get a stoppage here as Langford trying to get to his feet. The umpire eventually blows his whistle. We'll have a ball up 70 metres out from Essendon's goal. So plenty of numbers around the stoppage. Bell Chambers engages with Zach Smith. And then Thurlow comes through and he's tied up. No prior opportunity. He absorbed the tackle and The umpire will ball it up again.
Inside 50s, 8-4 for the Bombers at this stage. They're moving the ball pretty well. Shuri talked about, or wanted them to do at the start of the game.
Here's Dyson Heppel. He's going to kick it up inside the 50, string a couple to beat. Chance for McKernan again, who snaps it over his shoulder, and he just sneaks it in for a point. So the Bombers 1-1-7, the Cats are 1 point. 9 minutes gone, opening quarter, 3AW footy from the MCG.
Cats handballing a lot here at the moment. 14 kicks, 25 handballs.
That's the pressure, I reckon.
Yeah,
from
I reckon you're right. Just on that, the tackles 13-11 in favour of the Bombers as well.
Tui whistled to get on with it, and he bangs it right down the centre corridor. McKenna rises high, double-fisted punch back to centre half forward. Quick handball to Langford, off a step, kicks to the top of the goal square. 2-on-1 favour the Cats. McKernan off the ground. The World Cup's only weeks away, and that would have been into the top right-hand corner of the net. He's got the first 2 goals of the game. And the Bombers off to a positive start, 2-1-13. Geelong 1 behind, Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. 10 minutes into the opening term, Sean McKernan with both. And here's Daniel Harford and Tony Shaw on Saturday Twilight 3AW football.
Well, that's the ball that they haven't been able to get to often so far this year, the Bombers. That long ball to a one-on-one. The Geelong defender, Zach Tui, peeled off his man. It was McKernan he was guarding at the time. Sorry, it was Buse that came off him. And McKernan just reacted better and went front and square. It was a good finish off the deck. Don't worry about that. But it was the long to the one-on-one. They haven't had any of those this year, the Bombers. It's a good play.
It's a really good start by the Bombers. They're certainly up for it. Back in the middle we go. Selwood trying to break away from the middle, but it was handcuffed. And the umpire, Hobson, will come in and ball it up again. 2-1-13 Essendon, 1 point the Cats.
Also welcome all of our listeners on 6PR in Perth this afternoon ahead of the Sydney Fremantle game tonight.
Free kick in the middle, going to go the way of the Cats, going to be taken by Mitch Duncan. So Duncan with the yellow, Sharon takes it and then puts it up inside the 50. Cramery is there. Zach Smith was in the air as well. Comes to Cramery, trying to snap it around his body. Gregson, quick kick, Selwood. A rush at goal and out to the left-hand side and through for a point. The skipper. 2 points the Cats. 2-1-13 the Bombers. Chemist Warehouse scoreboard.
Well, McKernan looks the danger for up forward for Essendon, and Cramery looks the one up forward for the Cats.
Poor kick by McKenna. Showed plenty of it to Murdoch. He was looking for Goddard. Ball in dispute. Cramery grabs it. The ex-Bomber. He's tackled by a couple of current Bombers, one being Matty D. Umpire says no prior opportunity. He'll throw it up, and he does it quickly as well. Bell Chambers wins it on the second effort. Langford clears the area with a quick kick on his left foot. Bagley dropped the mark, but he was under pressure. Geelong there in numbers. Duncan, look away, handball to Blitzarves. Little fumble when recovered. Handball to Kolodjasny. He kicks on his left foot, scrambles it towards right half forward. And the Cats, that was good hands below his knees by Murdoch. Got a handball to Menegola. Handball to Kelly. Left foot kick to the hot spot. Mark not quite taken there by Thurlow. Bombers try to crash through. It was Hooker who was allowed to have it for a long time. Thurlow goes again. Got a handball to Buse, who was stripped to the footy immediately. This has been played at a frenetic pace. McKenna grabs it. High kick towards centre wing. Taylor thumps it away from Laverty. Fantasia chases it close to the line. Gets a handball back, and the little short pass ends up in the hands of Laverty at right half back.
They'll just slow it down, the Bombers.
Or is it Langford?
It's Langford, I think, and he's been called to play on now, so he's going to have to send it up the line on the southern wing and cutting across Kolodjasny with a big spoil over the boundary line she goes, and we're going to have a throw in.
Sure, what's the record like from a team that's had an assistant coach sacked through the week? We know the senior coach response is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. I don't know about the assistant coaches.
But you're right, their pressure's been enormous. They've played really well so far. The question with Essendon all year is can they do it long enough?
Yeah, exactly.
Ball back into play. Kelly is there and backing back into it. I think it was Parsons that time. Who can come out of it? Thurlow, in fact, it was, who gets up a little worse for wear. The Bombers will break free. Zaharakis gets it onto the boot. Inside the 50 it goes. Blitzarves. He controls it. He's been tackled. Magley got him in the tackle, and the umpire says holding the ball. Wow. What do you think, boys? Well, right call, and the ball not given straight back to Bagley, so that is a 50-metre penalty, and he'll be marched to point-blank range.
He did throw it in his head, Blitzarves, which is not the usual way to return the ball, and penalise appropriately. It was a silly thing to do.
Initial decision was harsh, though.
Yeah.
Didn't have much prior. Mark Bagley puts through the Bombers' third goal. What a start this is for Essendon. They go to 3-1-19. The Cats just 2 points. 14 minutes gone. Opening quarter, Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. Let's hear from Tony Shaw and Daniel Harford.
Well, it's all about the inclination, the pressure. That's where it's coming from. That's why the Cats are handballing a hell of a lot at the moment. Geelong, 31 handballs they've had. So 31 handballs to 20 kicks. That means they're trying to get rid of the ball. 32-17 with Essendon. This is a fantastic start, the Essendon side. We thought this would happen. And like Daniel said, it's about how long you can keep this up. But if you start believing in yourself, you just keep going. That's the way it is. So great start to the Bombers.
Field umpire Alex Wetton. I think we've seen him before, Half. That's a good bounce as well from the young man.
Good name.
McKernan wins the tap. McDonald Tipperwoody soccers it forward. It wobbles its way inside forward 50. A shallow entry. Stewart gets there first. What rich vein of form this man is in. Kicks it down the line but turns it over. It was a wobbler, and Matty D playing in front. Took the chest mark and will pump the Bombers back inside. Well, not back inside 50, but into their front half. A short pass to Langford. Went about 15, maybe 18 metres. Crowded forward line the youngster looks at. Langford kicks it towards the left forward pocket. No mark taken. McKernan's everywhere. Stewart it was. He tries to feed out a handball. Grabbed by Henry. He quickly got it to Haaland Smith. The Blitzarves kicks down the line. And it'll be coming back in again. Ambrose has got it just forward to centre wing.
He does, Ambrose. He spots Stringer, gets him. True centre half forward. He wants to play on. He goes for McKernan. Just overshot the kick, though. And it was taken by Dangerfield. Got to be quick because Devon Smith was closing on him. He got the handball backwards. Thurlow goes to Selwood. And Selwood hugs in the mark and comes back inboard. Mark taken by Cunico. They're still at true centre half back, the Cats. He plays on to Tui. And Tui now kicks the half forward. It's inside the 50. Hawkins flew. Was he shoved underneath the football? No. Getting back there, Saab. Collaborates well with Merritt. Merritt will go with the exit kick, and it was a beauty too. Zaharakis takes it left half back.
Off a step, lowers the eyes, and delivers it nicely to Laverty.
Tipperwoody one-on-one here.
Yeah, it's an open forward line. McDonald Tipperwoody's the way to go. He's got him on the chest. And then he kicks a lazy kick off the left foot. It might work out all right at the back. Stewart got a little fumble though. Geelong now get the cavalry back there. Kolajasny, handball to Stewart, handball to Blitzarves, handball to Buse. Didn't look, just hacked it down the line. And D is in the way again. It is relentless attacking. Just a bit more composure here from the Bombers, and they can really put a space between them and the Cats. As D goes very short, picks out Guelphy. Just forward to centre wing in front of the interchange gates.
So Matty Guelphy winds up, goes long inside the 50. Looking for Stewart. Dangerfield just cuts across now and thumps it over the boundary line. A throw in 45 metres around for the Bombers' goal.
You could be a little bit tongue-in-cheek here, Matty, and say the communication within the Essendon box is the reason this has happened.
Yep, it's very good, I'm hearing. The umpire tosses it back into play. Knocked down by McKernan, clipped high and called high. It'll be a free kick
to McKernan
and a shot at goal from 45 metres out against Dangerfield, who's looking quizzically at the umpire, having a look at the replay on the big screen, but definitely copped him high.
Tell you what, great start from the Bombers. The Cats are the one who lost their poise coming out of defence.
Yep.
Just smacking the ball, and the +1's working for Essendon at the moment, where I thought it might have been detrimental to their cause.
What about this man? Chock full of confidence at the moment. What'd you say, Shuri? He can't go to a cafe and buy it. Can't go to Puckle Street and buy it, as Dennis used to say. But he's got it at the moment. McKernan's kicked 2 goals, and he's lining up for his third. And he's going to kick from 49 metres out, on its way, and he's got it! He's kicked his third. Arms up in the air, and the Bombers 4-1-25. The Cats 2 points. 18 minutes gone in the opening quarter, and that is an equal career high for Sean McKernan. 3 goals. What about that? What a start!
Well, it's a brilliant start, and we've seen runs of goals from individual players through the season, even of recent weeks. We had 5 from Ben Brown in the third quarter today. We had Ronk for Sydney kick 4 in the first quarter. 3 is not uncommon for players, but it is for Sean McKernan. He's had a career high 3. He's got them all in within 20 minutes or 19 minutes of the first quarter of a game. So it's a terrific start. Free kick in the ruck. Geelong were disorganised there. Paddy Dangerfield had to be the ruckman in that situation. Didn't know what he was doing and got him high. It's just badly organised for the Cats.
From the restart, perfect bounce by umpire Justin Schmidt. It was one down by McKernan. Bombers force it forward again. Bagley was held without it. Why, she didn't like the call, Shorey?
Oh, no doubt about the call. I just saw Stewart, who I've been really impressed with. It just looks like they're not on the Cats, not thinking right at the moment.
Bagley's going to take the kick quickly from 55, right to the goal square. Stringer! No, not quite. Came off hands, and he was spectacularly leaping in the air to try and get a boot to it before it went through for a rush behind. 4-2-26 the Bombers, 2 behinds the Cats. Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. We said in the preview, a year's a long time in footy, but this is exactly what happened last year in the first quarter. Essendon kicked 6-1 against Geelong in round 8 last year.
Ball back into play. Selwood takes it. Handball back to Cunico, who's been tied up by Zaharakis. Gone. And Zaharakis will be rewarded with the free kick. And aren't the Bombers fans making some noise now? David Zaharakis has got the football 70 metres out from goal. He goes to the forward pocket. McKernan not in this. And the mark has been comfortably taken by Stewart of the Cats. Across his defensive goal. And he gets Blitzarm, so they bring it to the Memphis side. That's a dodgy kick. Opens the door here for Ridley. Paul and Smith knocked it back to Murdoch, who left it behind. Bagley is in there working away.
He's holding the ball.
And he's going to be close. The umpire hovers, thought about it, Shorey, and then calls
Schmidt
for a ball up 48 metres out from the Bombers' goal.
I know nothing.
4-2-26 Essendon, 2 points to Cats. 20 minutes gone, first quarter.
And it's on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard as umpire Schmidt throws it up 48 out from the Bomber goal. Menegola grabs it, immediately dispossessed by Fantasia. They fight on after it at ground level. And finally there's the whistle again from umpire Justin Schmidt.
Cats are trying to slow this up here. They've got 2 extra numbers at the ball here at the moment, which means the Bombers got 2 behind it. So any quick kick out of the pack will be coming back very, very quickly. They've got to play this cleverly.
McKernan wins the tap. Great handball by Guelphy to Stringer. High floating shot at goals out to the right. And in fact, it's out of bounds on the full right forward pocket, a left back pocket for the Cats. Punt road end. They are under the pump, the Cats here. Trailing by 24 points on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. And there's still 5:53 to go in the opening term. Here's Matty Granlund on 3RW 6PR football.
And there's Blitzarms with a kick. Zach Smith made a beeline for it and took the mark at left half back. Gets on with it. He kicks it down the line. Hawkins the target there. Just shoved Hooker out of the way. And the umpire paid it that way, and Hooker will take the free out there on the southern wing.
Geez, bad signs to Tommy Hawkins. Just deep forward before in a marking contest. Just went to ground and playing for a free kick. Got to be harder at it.
Here's Sard. He gets on his bike, likes to dash, takes a bounce inside the 50. McDonald Tippenwoody is opposed with Blitzarms, who knocks it down. Cramery came up. He couldn't take it cleanly. Chance for the Bombers. Here's Heppel. Quick kick at goal. He got it from the first game of Dylan Clark. And Heppel salutes with another one for the Bombers. Pancake parlour goal of the day contender. Lovely. 5-2-32 Essendon. The Cats 2 points. 22 minutes gone. First quarter.
Well, you might think it's a system issue, but it's basically a fundamentals issue at the moment for the Cats. The Bombers are just absolutely monstering around the footy. 34-25 in contested possessions, 11-3 in clearances and dominating possession as well. It's just who can win the footy. And the Bombers at the moment are just first in for the ball. They want the ball a little bit more. They're running in numbers, and the Cats are really flat-footed around the contest. They need to slow this game down, but they can't get possession, particularly from a restart of play. They're in all sorts.
For Corrimal wins at Caravans, 19 inside 50s to 7. What about a week being a long time in footy? Carlton kept Essendon to 5 goals in the first half last week. They've kicked 5 in 22 minutes here against the much more highly fancied Geelong lineup. And there's going to be another inside 50 here because it's a free kick and it'll go to Laverty being held without the footy. Inside 50, number 20 for the quarter for the Bombers. Kicks to the right forward pocket. Stewart was the target. No mark taken.
Fumbling.
Kelly at ground level gave it to Buse. Sort of said it's your problem. Buse was immediately tackled and another stoppage ensures. And it will be a throw-up, 45 out from the Essendon goal. They lead by 5 goals. Bell Chambers flicks it over his head to Devon Smith. Quick kick forward. McKernan lunges at it. Couldn't take the mark. Taylor, little handball to Cunico. He panicked a bit. Laverty grabs it. Quick snap at goal. It's across the face. Bouncing awkwardly because we do play with an egg. Geelong defence again being asked questions. Haaland Smith's got it and he bangs it down the line and clears defensive 50.
He certainly does. Cranberry on the end of it. Wants to roll on. Handball over the top. Patrick Dangerfield takes it now. Sard's pursuing him. Puts pressure on him. He kicks it to half forward. Tomahawk comes up. His handball, though, was poor. Straight to Ambrose, who gets it back for the Bombers. He got the handball to Ridley. Good composure by the kid, who takes them on and takes a bounce out to McDonald, Tippin Woody. Going early was Blitzarms. Did well, though, to make it a contest. And then wins it at ground level. Handball to Cunico. He tight ropes the boundary line and then he's mucked up the bounce. And Laverty was there to pounce and push it over the boundary line. And we're going to have a throw in between wing and half forward favouring the Cats. 5-2-32. Essendon 2 points Geelong. Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. It's mayhem at Chemist Warehouse with all the big brand vitamins and cosmetics now half price.
It's mayhem here at the moment.
Yeah, this is exciting stuff unless you're following the Hooped affair, which the head of football at 3AW does, Craig Moore, as the Cats go forward through Tom Stewart. Drop mark by Hooker. A chance for the Cats. Picked up by Cramery. And he kicks the goal. The Cats are finally on the board. 25 minutes into the opening term. Cramery, the ex-Bomber, gets there first and trims the deficit to 4 goals. 1-2-8 Geelong. 5-2-32 Essendon. Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. Here's Tony Shaw and Daniel Harford on Saturday Twilight Football.
Well, he's been the most dangerous forward. It's been McKernan up forward for Essendon and a few others who have chimed in, but Cramery's been the one up in the forward line for them. Look, as possession goes, Geelong are 1 possession ahead, boys. 1 possession ahead, and they're down on the scoreboard by that margin of 4 goals. So just an amazing game of football, but pressure tells a lot.
And finally a breakthrough goal for the Cats. Back in the middle we go. Devon Smith trying to hack it off the deck. Tui, though, gets it forward for the Cats. Lunging at it, Thurlow. He traps it, and then they're all over him like a cheap suit. And the umpire's going to come in and ball it up just outside the 50 for Geelong.
I've worn some really good cheap suits, you know. They look all right sometimes.
Well, Doom had one on last night.
What was that?
He looked like a game show host from the 70s or 80s. Looked like he was about to host Blankety Blanks. It was no good.
Is Nolan Brown still doing that?
Yeah.
Suit was the same colour as his hair.
It was.
No, he's got some real hair issues. I don't know if it's the smog in Shanghai that does it to him.
Selwood's kick charged down well by Heppel, and then McDonald Tippin Woody laid the tackle on Selwood, and they are putting them under the pump at the moment. The Bombers, their pressure magnificent. We've got a ball up just outside the 50 for the Cats.
3:06 remaining until quarter time. Cats would love a late one. They certainly don't want to concede again. They win the clearance and eventually it ends up in the hands of Stewart. He kicks a little floater in towards the forward pocket to Hawkins. It's going to be a great battle between him and Hooker. Hooker went straight for the boundary line, but he was lucky that Zach Merritt was there to try not to make it look too deliberate. And we will have a boundary throw in 25 around for the Geelong goal.
Hooker's doing a great job on Hawkins. I reckon he's in his head too, sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
5-2 plays 1-2. Bell Chambers gets rid of Selwood, but tapped it straight to Haaland Smith. Clever snap around the body. Which way will it bounce? Across the face. And in fact, it doesn't even score. It trickles out of bounds. Heppel did have a play on it, but elected, with not knowing what was behind him, to watch the football run out of bounds. 2:39 now remaining until the first change. Essendon by 24 points on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. Throw in left forward pocket for the Cats.
Cats to the city end in this opening quarter as the umpire throws it back into play. Bill Chambers wins it down. Heppel's kick was half charged down, and Haaland Smith given the round to the kitchen in the tackle by Merritt. And the umpire's going to come in and ball it up 35 metres out from Geelong's goal. Umpire clears the path. Check some numbers for the prime movers of the Cats in a moment. Half we can. Ablett, Selwood and Dangerfield. Here's Ablett on cue. Knocked it, put the handball away, and then Hawkins knocked it back, and nice work by Goddard to get the handball out to Sard. And this is, I think, young Ridley again who's clearing, and Bagley is on the end of it, and he takes the mark at left half back.
7 for Selwood, 5 for Dangerfield, 6 for Ablett.
So Bagley, one of a few Bombers out there today, is celebrating a birthday in the next 48 hours, turns 31 on Monday. High kick down the line. Stringer got a good piece of it, but then dropped the mark at the last second. They fight on at ground level. Taylor should have got a free kick for too high. Stewart emerges with it. Ford on, got a handball back to Bagley. Handball to Zaharakis. Kick around the corner. Stringer might be the target. He actually let it go for Fantasia. There's a late whistle here, and the non-controlling umpire has picked out a free kick. Is that for a push?
Block, I think it was.
Block. Gregson's the recipient, and he retreats all the way back to Tui in the right back pocket.
So Zach Tui, short to Kelly. He's been quiet in this opening quarter.
Good call. This is just number 2 for Kelly. Laverty's doing a good job on him.
Got it to Tui.
Good kick.
Got it to half-back. Nicely done. And now Zach Smith, next link in the chain. Got it from Cunico. Zach Smith kicks it deep. He wants
Free
Dangerfield. A free kick. They're going to go to danger.
Yep, no doubt.
And Dangerfield will take it right in front of goal.
Crammery took the mark anyway, but the free kick
free kick to Dangerfield. Yep. He was under pressure. I think it was Laverty, did you call?
Ambrose was.
Ambrose, just took his eye off the ball, went back, grabbed him around the shoulder. There was no doubt the umpire was right on the spot.
Here's Patrick Dangerfield. He's dead in front here. Should slot through the goal deep into this opening quarter, which has been dominated by the Bombers. And Paddy Dangerfield, couple of steps and puts it through for Geelong, their second. At the 29-minute mark of the opening quarter, 2-2-14. The Bombers are 5-2-32. And we're close to quarter time.
Well, it's the first time we've seen Geelong be able to really get the ball outside their defensive, from their defensive 50 to their forward 50 with great flow and with precision. The kick out of half-back was the ripper from Zach Tui. And then the one back at the inboard situation through the corridor was brilliant. That's the ball movement that you'd love to see as a coach against any team. But the kick over the top from Tui was brilliant, and then they were able to fan the ball out and get deep to a one-on-one. And when you got that situation, Shorey, the defender's always feeling a bit stressed and tense. And Ambrose just felt that and just had to make contact with Dangerfield.
2 loose in the back line for the Bombers now. There's only 46 seconds on the clock, but that's how it's been nearly for the whole first quarter.
Bombers with the first 5, Cats with the last 2. Clean clearance here, and there could be another score easily. Kelly with the kick, which was half battered down, but it's brilliantly scooped up by Parsons at right half forward. From 52, he kicks long and strong. It bounces. It sits up on its end. Hawkins with a little dribbler towards the goal line. D elected to keep it in. That was dangerous. Got a handball to Zaharakis. Kicks to a one-on-one. Heppel and Blitzarves. Blitzarves punches it back towards the Geelong goal. Crammery went without it. Stewart gathers again. Handball to Zach Merritt. Handball to Heppel. He was too cute. It was well read by Crammery. Batted down his handball. Won the football himself. Got it to Dangerfield. Got it to Ablett, who was mown down by Zach Merritt. Should be rewarded. And no advantage will be taken by the Bombers. They'll come back to take the free kick. And Ablett gets up just a little ginger as well. It was a vigorous tackle.
2 huge tackles by Merritt this quarter.
Great tackle, wasn't it?
Goal-saving tackles.
And this will be the last kick of the term. Just keep an eye on Gazza. He is feeling that tackle from Zach Merritt. But a very good quarter from Essendon. They did concede the final 2 goals of the term, but they lead by 18 points at the first change on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. 5-2-32 to Geelong 2-2-14, with Sean McKernan kicking 3 of Essendon's 5 goals. Around the grounds, Port Adelaide halfway through the third quarter are leading the Gold Coast Suns by 20 points in Shanghai. And earlier at Blundstone Arena in Hobart, North Melbourne with a huge second half have flogged the Giants by 43 points, with Ben Brown kicking 5 and Jared Waite kicking 4 goals. Of course, last night it was Adelaide in the wet by 37 points over the Bulldogs. For McDonald's, 3RW is Saturday Twilight Football.